Paul Watson, a Canadian environmentalist, once said, "There is no such thing as sustainable seafood in the dying ocean." Now, he doesn't believe sustainable fishing exists, but one thing he does agree on is that marine ecosystems are dying, and at a faster rate than ever. Mass fisheries around the world as of the last 200 years since the invention of the steamboat have been hurting the oceanic environment by fishing over their needed status for profit in the seafood market, but also by causing pollution to the waters from the dangerous emissions coming from their boats. The Arabian Sea is a great example of what overfishing can do throughout history to marine ecosystems. The Arabian Sea contained a large portion of history's seafood market, but due to bad fishing practices from mass fisheries, the water has become less suitable for living organisms and has killed off marine life, causing humans to lose another food source from ignorant fishing practices. Over time, the main cause of this deterioration of the Arabian Sea is from our technological advances, where steamboats and oil-run fishing boats were clouding the body of water into a mess of dirt. Here's a trivia question for you. How many estimated fish in the wild are caught every year? Is it A, 200 million, B, 500 million, C, 3 billion, or D, 300 billion? Those answers are actually all wrong. It's an estimated 1.1 trillion fish that are caught in the wild every year. Have you ever heard of a hit reality TV show named Survivor? This show pits 16 to 20 people against and with each other in tribes. They have the tribes earn their own food, and although it isn't always the main part of the show, the fishing aspect is vital to the gameplay and the survival of the players. With this, the players learn to fish, but through normal fishing techniques, they are able to feed themselves without starving, and they aren't taking too much from marine ecosystems where it doesn't disrupt life in the water. In real life, there are tribes just like this. National Geographic covered that in Thailand, there's a fishing tribe named Urak Lawoi that sustainably fishes and still has a surplus of food for themselves and the surrounding markets in their area. Now, people believe there is always more than enough fish. They say, "Oh, fish populate so much, they have like thousands of eggs. Won't there always be more and more fish?" Now, the case of this is, maybe that would be true, if we're not catching 1.1 trillion fish every year. And also, another thing that impacts this is, like I said, for the Arabian Sea, this water is deteriorating due to these steamboats and oil-run fishing boats that cause the sea to be polluted and cause life to be uninhabitable. Now, to rebuke this, some people might still say,
"Well, how is there more than enough fish and we still have world hunger?"
Now, the case for this is that where we have world hunger isn't always on the coast, meaning we don't always have fish available to every country, as it might cost more to trade, and with this, mass fisheries don't really help this, since it might be cheaper to trade, but it's hurting the fish, and eventually we're not going to have any more fish after that. And another point against this topic is that there's literally a Thai fishing tribe that gains a surplus of fish without overfishing, as they aren't taking away too much from the marine ecosystem, and they are still gaining enough fish to provide for their families, and this is without mass fishing, with these mass machines, and just with normal fishing boats and normal fishing nets. Now, how can we combat against these overfishing tactics? I think we can put in environmental laws over bodies of water to how much one can take from the marine ecosystems. Now one could say, "Well, how are they going to put in these laws? I mean, not all the countries are going to agree." Now with this, I could say, there's multiple organizations nationwide, not just including the US, that are fighting against this. There's even the Crown Princess of Sweden, Crown Princess Victoria, where they're a passionate defender and an ambassador for the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal. Now, these nations can come together and work together so they can protect these bodies of water to where mass fisheries can't overfish inside and they can protect the water and themselves. Now, overall, I believe overfishing is an important thing nations around the world need to understand before we kill off too much of our ocean life and harm ourselves in the process. Overfishing only brings harm to our future selves and the marine life that we are supposed to protect.